and password information. So once you do log in, this is the first page that you'll see. We're taking a look at Tim Bear's Rapsodo data here. And the first thing that you'll notice is the 4 pitch types that he throws. You may notice that there's only a fastball charted under pitch type. And the reason why that is because during the live at-bats, it's difficult for us to categorize each pitch. And so sometimes they're all categorized as fastballs, but that is something that the athletes can go in and change. So in order to categorize pitches, the first step is to go to Sessions, and let's go ahead and click on Sessions and click on the date of the session that we want to look at. In this case, it's January 2nd. And then over here, click Details. So it's under the summer. We're going to click Details. And this shows the pitch, all of the pitches that were thrown during those sessions. And then over here on the side, we'll see this is the pitch type. And so in order to change the pitch type, all we have to do is click on fastball and change it to whatever pitch it was. So I like to click velo and categorize by velo so I know where all my fastballs were. And if we scroll all the way down to the bottom, we can see that based on the velocity and the break of the pitch, whether it was a changeup or a curveball. So for example, if we look at vertical break, which is this right here, curveballs have a negative vertical break. So fastballs, and we're looking at a fastball right here on this line here. We'll just draw a rectangle over this fastball. And so a fastball has a positive vertical break right here. We'll talk about that in a second because it has backspin. It kind of rides up as it's going to the target. So it's easy to see that this is a fastball in addition to the velocity. Also, the spin efficiency of a fastball should be high. The best is 100%. And so what spin efficiency is showing us is the backspin that ball is spinning at. So we want to see backspin. Not all pitchers throw with backspin, but our goal is that we can see backspin, so we want to see a high spin efficiency. If we scroll down, we can see this slider is a little bit different because, let's go ahead and draw a rectangle around that so we can see some of the info here. We can see the velocity is a little bit different. We can also see that the spin efficiency is 36%. So a slider has what we call bullet spin, and so we should see a lower spin efficiency. What spin efficiency is measuring is a lot of times the axis of the spin and how much the spin is affecting movement. You can also see that we have a lower vertical break. And so for sliders, we want to see the vertical break. The really good ones are around 0. So this one probably wasn't a great slider. And so we can determine that it was a slider based on that. So if your athlete throws a slider, you should see the velocity range be lower. You should see the spin efficiency be lower and the vertical break be lower as well, depending on the shape of the pitch. If we scroll down even more, so let's clear this here. We know that changeups, well, let's go to curveballs here. So here's a good curveball. Curveballs are generally slower than sliders. And you can see that on this curveball, we have a very, very high vertical break. Curveballs generally break down more than any other pitch, so that's a negative vertical break. We'll talk about that here in a second. Curveballs have a spin efficiency. It depends, 50, 60, 70, 80, even 90%. So you can see that here. Sometimes they spin a little bit more than the fastball does, but we can see that curveballs are generally a little bit slower than the slider if we throw all 4 pitches. So that's how we can categorize the curveball. Let's clear that. And the last thing we want to look for is a changeup. And on this session, I'm not seeing changeups, but changeups should have a lower spin rate and a lower velocity than the fastball, and the spin efficiency should be high on a changeup. So sometimes it can be a little bit tricky to categorize pitches, but if we can get the pitches categorized first, that'll help us be able to read and understand how the pitchers are moving. So first step, have the athletes come in and categorize pitches. If they're not sure what pitches are which, we can help when they come into the facility and determine what pitches are which. If there's a question, whether it's a fastball, well, fastballs are pretty easy, but a curveball or a slider, and how to differentiate those pitches.